All right, here is my audience. All right, how many of you have ever been drug tested for a job?
Me.
Me too. In 1986, Ronald Reagan suggested that companies drug test their employees. This was for a part of his War on Drugs initiative. By 1988, 62% of large companies did require drug testing before someone could become employed. Today I want to talk about mandatory drug testing for welfare. I believe that every person that receives welfare benefits should also be required to take and pass a drug test, just as we all did in order to get a job. Anyone who has a job and receives income has to pay taxes, and those taxes go towards funding welfare. As a taxpayer, I believe it is important to know how my taxes are being utilized. I would also like to believe that there are regulations in place to make sure this money is distributed fairly. So what we're going to talk about today is federal spending on welfare, drug use and welfare, and the states that currently require drug testing in order to receive welfare. In 2008, there was an average of $474 billion spent on welfare. By 2011, that amount had increased to $668 billion. That's an increase of $200 billion spent on welfare in the last 3 years. In 2017, Americans contributed 29 cents of every dollar they earned towards welfare benefits. That's an average of $3,500 of your check every year going towards welfare benefits. Welfare is not the only thing that's increasing. Drug use is also increasing in America. In 2002, there were around 8.4% of the population that admitted to using an illegal drug in the last 30 days. By 2013, this amount had increased to 9.4%. That is 1% increase in the population that admitted to using drugs in the last 30 days. We see that welfare spending has increased. We also see that drug use has increased. Is this a coincidence? According to an article by Medical Express, it is estimated that 50% of drug users, or 50% of drug use occurs in households that receive welfare. It is also estimated that drug use is more common in low poverty households than it is in the general population. Next, we're going to talk about states that currently require mandatory drug testing for welfare benefits. In 1996, the Welfare Reform Act began. At that time, several states proposed that drug testing be required. However, in 1996, that never passed legislation. It wasn't until 2011 that Arizona, Florida, and Missouri were the first 3 states to make it mandatory that people who received welfare benefits take a drug test and pass. By 2015, there were 16 states that require mandatory drug testing for some form of welfare. So how does this work? The mandatory testing is suspicion-based. So not everyone is required to drug test for welfare benefits. They have to fill out a questionnaire when they apply for welfare, and if it is suspected that they could be drug users, they then have to take a drug test. If they fail their drug test, then they are required to seek treatment, and in most states, you do not get welfare benefits while you are in treatment. Some states will allow welfare benefits for children while their guardians are seeking treatment. So what are the results? In 2014, Missouri reported that around 711 welfare applicants refused to drug test and were therefore denied benefits. In 2014, Oklahoma saved around $175,000 when hundreds of individuals tested positive and were therefore denied benefits. In Tennessee, it was reported that more than half of individuals tested were positive for drugs and denied benefits. So what are the goals of this regulation? Peace of mind. Peace of mind is for the people who pay taxes to fund this program. It's just a little peace of mind knowing that the money that you're earning that's going to benefit these programs is going to people who are truly needy. The other goal is to reduce the amount spent on welfare programs and to also reduce drug use, hopefully by requiring drug testing for welfare benefits. It will discourage people from actually using drugs. In conclusion, how do we achieve these goals? I think that the 16 states that are currently requiring drug testing can prove that it is helpful in achieving these goals. The states that require drug testing report that less money is spent on welfare and that there are fewer people actually using drugs. Thank you.